Hi guys, Jason here from Rugby Fit and welcome to this little video. I did a post the other day and I asked you which you thought was more beneficial for rugby performance, and I did the performance, I highlighted that, and I asked you, was strength training or power training more beneficial for your actual rugby performance? And I read a really interesting article and I'll actually give you that article. You can download it, I'll tell you at the end of the video how to get it. But what they mentioned was a few things that I thought was really interesting. The one thing they mentioned was the force velocity curve, and other things were your 1 rep max and what they called your MVIC, which is your maximal voluntary isometric contraction. Now I'm just going to start over here. If you think about a squat, your 1 rep max, now just to make things easier, let's just say your 1 rep max for a squat is 100 kilograms. That means you can do 1 repetition. You can't do any more than that. 1 repetition doing your squat. So that's what we call your 1 rep max. Now your maximal voluntary isometric contraction, that would be 101 kilograms, right? So isometric means it's a contraction without really any movement. So at 100 kilograms, you can move it for 1 rep, but if you were to increase it to 101, that becomes your MVIC, all right? So I'll explain a little bit in detail why that's important. So if you go look at this graph, obviously with the 1 rep max, right, your force, that's your 0, okay? So you apply maximal force, okay? But it takes a bit of time to do it, so that's your velocity over there. So your 1 rep max would be over there somewhere. Now, if we think about it in terms of what is our aim for strength training, right? If you're just doing these Olympic lifts, okay, and really heavy weights, okay, the point is to increase your strength, right? If you increase your strength, right, then you're obviously going to up your 1 rep max, okay, which is all great, but is it really relevant for your rugby training? Okay, we'll get into that. So we said lifting heavy, okay, those reps take a lot longer to do, okay, but if you think about in terms of athletic performance, you know, sprinting off the spot, change direction, right? It's not really maximal force. If you think, actually, let's talk about a sprint, okay? You are actually applying half of your maximal force, okay? And that foot is very quickly just touching the ground, okay? So it's minimal or mid-range power, okay? And maximal velocity, okay? And that's basically what athletic performance is, okay? It's not your one rep max. If you're on that rugby pitch, okay, it's more quick pace stuff, okay, so it's not maximal force, right, but it's very high velocity, all right. Now, what they also mentioned was you obviously get different types of training. You get what you call your plyometric training, okay, and you get your Olympic lifting, and in between those two, okay, comes a very important training which is really going to benefit you. Now obviously when you do your strength training, your 1 rep max training, you're going to try and aim for between about 75 and 95% of your 1 rep max. So when you're doing your training, if you want to increase your 1 rep max, okay, those are the ranges more or less that you're looking for, between 75 and 95%. Now, like I said, there are three different forms of training. Now, what you want to do, if you really want to increase your athletic performance, is somewhere in the middle. So you get your plyometric training, which is your jumping and throwing balls and stuff like that. That is high velocity, so it's going to be there, okay, but it's not very high in force, okay. So your plyos, okay, we'll put it there. Plyo training is going to be there. Your Olympic lifts, okay, again, that's going to be pretty close to your 1 rep max, okay, but it takes a bit of effort, okay, it takes time to do, okay, so it's high force, okay, but very low velocity, so we'll put there O for Olympic lifts. Now somewhere in the middle of here, right, is the training that's very essential for you when you're trying to improve your athletic performance, and I'm going to write there B, right, so it is called ballistic training, okay, so it is just in the middle there. So we use medium weights, okay, at a pretty high velocity, and where we sit over there, you're looking for 75 to 95% of your 1 rep max. Over here we're only working about 50 to 60% of your 1 rep max, okay, so we said some medium range of force, okay, and that velocity is also pretty high, okay, so we said very important form of training for you. Just back to the whole, is power more beneficial than strength? obviously if you're going to increase your strength, if you're inexperienced, any increase in strength is also going to increase your power and increase your velocity, right? So, you know, if you're just starting out, any form of training is really going to help with your athletic performance, right? But that is only going to go to a point, right? You're going to reach a point where, yes, now I've been doing lots of strength training, yes, I've been getting quicker, I've been getting more explosive, but that is only going to work to a point. And the article goes into a lot more detail about that, right? So you want to make sure that if you're starting out, that you're following the right principles, right? And you want to make sure that when you reach that point, when you start plateauing, that you know exactly what to do after that, right? So, like I said, guys, little article that I read, you can download it. It'll either be somewhere on this page or there will be a link to the article. Go and download it. If you're interested, have a read. Okay, but like I said, strength training, power training, okay, both have its merits. Okay, if you're just starting out, by all means, okay, do your strength training. Okay, get a little bit stronger. That will definitely help with power and your velocity. Okay, but then you also, like I said, you are going to reach a point where you need to start concentrating on your power training too. Right, so like I said, hope you enjoyed that, guys. Hope you found it interesting, and go and read the article.